If you didn't know, now you know. Presented by Decatur Earth Mover Credit Union is taking it to the fields, courts, and stadiums for the month of August. Every Friday throughout the month, join us in hearing firsthand from these iconic local legends.
All right, we are live in the studio here with T-Mac. T-Mac, give me the whole introduction, where you come from and what you like about it.
Where did I come from? My name is Anthony Tony T-Mac McLean, by way of Peoria, Illinois, and came to Milliken, graduated in 92, graduate of Milliken. Now I'm part-time. I help out with Eric Lee doing the color commentating here in Decatur for Milliken and also high school football games.
Awesome. So you mentioned Peoria is where you come from. What high school did you go to and what sports did you play?
Well, I went to Peoria Woodruff, which is no longer a school. They it's kind of a technical school now, but they've kind of gotten rid of that school. But I went to Peoria Woodruff. That's kind of the unknown Peoria school. There's Manual and Richwoods and Central, but Peoria is kind of the hidden gem that not a lot of people know about. But that's the high school I went to. What was the other question?
What sports did you
Sports,
play?
I played football, baseball, and I played intramural basketball.
Man, you're all over the place.
We were actually champs in intramural basketball.
Oh, just a little subtle brag there.
Yeah,
I love that.
I couldn't play, but I was.
What were your positions in each?
Football, I was a running back, tailback, receiver, and also a DB, and in high school. And then baseball, I was just outfield and played a little catcher as well.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you said you went to college at Milliken. So what sports did you play in college and what was your position there?
I played football as well as baseball at Milliken.
Nice.
That was one of the reasons I went there. I was able to do the academics as well as the athletics without having, missing a whole lot of classes, which in some places they only want you to allow you to play one sport. So I played same as at Milliken, played tailback on offense, never played defense, and baseball is typically just outfield for baseball.
You must have an arm.
I did. I'm not bragging, but it was.
Oh, no, brag.
You wouldn't want to run on me. Yeah.
Now, what's something that you learned when you entered collegiate sports that you weren't sure of in high school that you had to kind of learn as you go in college?
It was, you just didn't know. You kind of knew your friends that you were competing against in high school. You're like, oh, I could beat him. Yeah, he's pretty good. But then you go to college, you're like, I don't know who these guys are. So I had to step my game up a little bit, so you just got to work hard every day, not knowing, if you might get a chance, you might not, or if you're going to, I was just figuring come to Milliken, try hard and maybe make the JV team, that's all I want to do. But I end up making varsity my freshman year. So I just say, go into it, work hard and, there's going to be some competition, but you just make sure you're doing your best as you try out.
So what was the biggest adjustment from high school to college? Was it closer to that, or can you think of anything that was harder?
The speed of the game a little bit. High school, the athletes are, there's better athletes and there's some mediocre. In college, everybody's typically about the same, have the same athletic ability, same speed, so you have to really step your game up or you might get knocked out. So it was tough. That was one of the toughest things I figured out. I couldn't tiptoe through a hole. I had to, really accelerate to get through that hole and not play any games. So
Absolutely. You've already kind of mentioned some bits of advice for high school students, but if you could give just one broad statement for advice for high school athletes going into college or continuing into their career, what would it be?
I would say while you're in high school, take care of your grades early so you're not struggling at your senior year trying to fight to get that, I have to pass this class or pass that class to get this GPA. Start early so you can kind of coast your senior year and, not have to worry about, am I going to get in this school or, my GPA isn't this high or, so my thing would say stay on your studies. That's the most important anyway because, most of the time, everybody has a dream of being a pro athlete and most of the time it doesn't happen. So you got to have something to fall back on, and education. That's one of the reasons I went to Milliken. I knew I was going to get my education, and that was the first and foremost thing with my mom and the coaches. they weren't worried about how many yards I ran for or how many home runs I hit. They were worried about if I went to class, if I was getting my grades, if I was, eligible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get into college and play for college if your grades are bad. You
No,
gotta
you
make sure you
can't.
stay on it.
That's the toughest thing too. So.
That's excellent advice. What advice do you have for kids looking to go to the next level or pro? So what's the next step after college? What would you give advice on that transition?
I mean, it's a different type of thing. I've had a couple baseball tryouts, didn't work out, and it's just it was nice trying though, I mean, just give it your best, and work at it. If you're gonna do it, you can't kind of half-ass, if I could say that. You might bleep that out, I don't know, but you can't half-ass it. You gotta go 100%.
Now, did you have aspirations of going pro besides like the couple tryouts that you did? Was that like an in-game goal for you, or was it just kind of like a pipe dream?
I mean, it's every boy's dream. I played Little League. That was my first love. Baseball was my first love. And my senior year of high school, I had a couple looks, had a couple tryouts in high school. But then after college, I had a couple looks and nothing ever panned out. But it's a dream, I think I might have done all right if I had a chance. It's just kind of the right place, right time, and I think if high school would have been a little different, I probably could have went right out of high school. But it was it's a good dream to have though, something to shoot for, So I had the dream, but it didn't work out. So, but it's all good though.
Well, I'd say you did pretty well because you're in the Millikan Hall of Fame, aren't you?
I am.
For what?
Football and baseball. So.
Man.
Yeah, I was pretty decent. I tried to tell my family. I was like, I told them I was all right. They never believed me. They haven't seen any videos or anything, but I told them I was all right. And when they were at the ceremony for me getting inducted, I had to let them know. I was like, see, I told you I wasn't that bad. So, but no, that was one of the highlights of my life. Besides being married, having my kids, being inducted into the Millikan Hall of Fame, that just shows that. They appreciated everything I've done for the athletics there for Millikan.
That's really cool. Now, what's your biggest takeaway from your experience at Millikan and into sports programs?
Well, my biggest takeaway really didn't have to do with sports. It was just how the coaches were more worried about me as a man and my life beyond sports. They knew I had, not a lot of people, Division III, most Division III players aren't going to go pro, so they're worried about your future in your life, not football or baseball. So they were more worried about my future in life than just sports. So I'd have to say that they made me love sports more because they weren't worried about, hey, you could have got 5 more yards on that run, or you could have, got a triple on that, or something. You could have threw that guy out. So they were more worried about my life after Millikan, after football or baseball. So.
Now, if you could change anything about your college career, what would it be?
I really can't. I would have liked to won the national championship in football and baseball. We had a chance. We got in the playoffs. I think that might have been the last time the Millikan baseball was in the playoffs besides this last year for baseball. We made it to the playoffs and pretty good team, and we had a shot to go play in the national championship games and stuff, but we didn't make it. And then we also had a chance in the football, I had a chance to play we played Dayton, lost to Dayton. They ended up winning the national championship. So that was kind of a disappointment, knowing that we could have beaten them. We should have beaten them. So, but that's probably my biggest disappointment. Something I probably would have changed, just probably winning that national championship in football.
Well, if you're going to lose to a team, it is the national champion. It's got to ease your pain a little bit.
And I'm not sure how they were Division I in basketball and Division III in football. That's another story. But.
That's a head scratcher. Now, what about in high school? What are your biggest regrets or things that you wish would have happened differently from high school?
High school, there was Peoria Richwoods. That was kind of our rival. They were kind of like the Illinois Wesleyan at Millikan. They were green. Their colors were green and white, just like Wesleyan, and it was just a hatred for the Richwoods, and we could never get over that hump with beating them. Lost to them on a last-second field goal. It got blocked by one of my best friends. He actually blocked it, and it barely went over the field goal. They won 10-7 with the seconds running off the clock. That was one of the biggest regrets right there. Not being able to beat Richwoods in my high school career. Yeah.
Now, with your commentating now that you do with Eric, what's your favorite part about that? Tell me more about that.
Oh, Eric and his Eric is a hoot, I'm sure you guys know. Eric is a hoot to work with. Just the trips on the way there and on the way back, him videotaping me sleeping or snoring or whatever, or me videotaping him snoring or on the way back and there, just having our talks about our wives and just the good old days and things of that nature. So just and learning from Eric. He should be on Sports Center or something. He's that good. So just being able to learn from him and just enjoying the time with him on trips there and back. So
yeah, it's a pretty good time when you get to hang out with your buddy and kind of joke around and then watch sports, which you both love to do.
Yeah, and he likes to talk. I try to get in there. I'm trying to get in there more, be more talkative while we're on air. So I'm gonna, this season we're just doing Milliken home games. So I'm gonna try to get my piece in there, my 2 cents in there.
Yeah, don't be shy. T-Mac, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I thank you and Dom for doing the video. This is supposed to be my good side, but we thank you thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for checking out this episode of If You Didn't Know, Now You Know, presented by Decatur Earth Mover Credit Union Athlete Edition. Want more? Audio podcast, videos, and questionnaire interviews are all available at nowdecatur.com.